How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Joe Walsh here, 88.5 FM. This is one of the very few remaining independent radio stations serving Southern California. Got plus or minus 2 hours of music today and some great Ask Joe questions from our listeners. I do want to remind you that it's our fundraising weekend. So how about this? Go to 885fm.org, and become a member. And make a pledge. Give us some financial support. Help the station keep doing what we do. And I will match your pledge for my show from 6 to 8 o'clock. How about that? And thank you in advance. We'll get on with some music, and I'll be back in a little bit.
This question is from Matt Haman from St. Clair Shores, Michigan. Hey, Joe, you're one of my biggest influences as a guitarist. On The Smoker You Drink, The Player You Get, where did you come up with that title for the album, and what does it mean? Love the show. Thanks, man.
Hey, Matt, how you doing? Thanks for the question. Howard Roberts was an amazing jazz guitar player, and he was one of my gurus. He was one of my spiritual advisors, shall we say, in the old days. Bill Szymczyk was producing Howard's album. Bill Szymczyk produced the James Gang and much later produced the Eagles. But I was hanging out over at Howard's recording session, and we were talking about guitar players when they're in the zone. And what that means is everything is just right, and you have one of those evenings where you play your ass off. And we're constantly trying to get in the zone one way or another. That particular evening, we were pretty stoned. And so to sum up that discussion, I just said out loud, well, Howard, the smoker you drink, the player you get. And everybody in the room nodded yes and said, yeah, you know, you're right. And Bill Szymczyk said, well, you better write that one down, which I did. So the smoker you drink, the player you get is one of them things where it doesn't mean anything. It's a head scratcher, but everybody nods. Oh, yeah, you know, you're right. And once in a while, I'll come up with one of those. And that was a really good one. Thanks for the question, man.
This question is from Jeff Cochran from Billings, Montana. Hi, Joe. I've been a fan since the James Gang. I wonder if there is any unreleased material from your Barnstorm years that might come out someday. Wore Out the Barnstorm Smoker and So What albums in high school and college. Living in Colorado then, early 70s, we considered Rocky Mountain Way to be our anthem. Still love those records and everything else you do. Your radio show is great, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing? Good question, man. And good timing. A dear friend of mine has just sent me a reel of recording tape of Barnstorm playing live in Madison, Wisconsin. And as we remember it, that was a special concert. Joe Vitale and Kenny Passarelli and I have often talked about that show. And lo and behold, this tape, which is half-inch, so it's a good quality recording, might be a live Barnstorm album. And I don't know how that showed up, and then you asked this question, but coincidence? I think not. Anyway, let me get this out and play it, and maybe it's a live Barnstorm album. Wouldn't that be great? Thanks.
The next question is from Brian Lohman from North Hollywood. Hey, Joe. Funk 49 is one of my favorite James Gang tunes. Which funk artists have influenced you the most over the years? Thanks for doing your show.
Hey, Brian, how you doing? Good question, man. Funk guitar players. Steve Cropper, of course. Jimmy Nolan was the guitar player for James Brown in the majority of his music. The Funk Brothers were Motown's house band. Ronald White wrote My Girl, but Ronald White did this. And wow, says it all for me. The secret of funk guitar is your right hand, not your left. And you get a freight train going with your right hand. Okay? That's funk. And then you add your left hand. For example, see? My right hand's doing this all the time. So the guitar player is also part of the rhythm section. And that's 1 minute and 40 seconds of funk guitar. Hope I answered your question. Thanks.
88.5 FM, KCSN, and KCSN HD1 Northridge, Los Angeles. KSBR and KSBR HD1 Mission Viejo. A service of California State University Northridge and Saddleback College. Member-supported public radio. Streaming on the web at 885fm.org.
This question is from Bill Carter from Seattle, Washington. Hi, Joe. This is Bill in Seattle. Love your show. Did you ever have a chance to see Jimi Hendrix in person? Thanks, man. Bill.
Hey, Bill, how you doing? Thanks for the question. Yeah, I saw Jimi Hendrix live at the Memorial Auditorium in Cleveland. Drove up from Akron, sat in the audience, and, speechless, driving home, as all of us guitar players did, driving home going, what's the use? Feeling very small. Also, at Youngstown University in Youngstown, Ohio, Sly and Family Stone and Jimi Hendrix and the James Gang all played. And Jimmy and I had the same dressing room. So I was getting ready to play, and he came in and heard me play. And I showed him my Les Paul and told him all about it, what effects pedals I used. That's what he wanted to know. And then he showed me his Strat. And we talked for about 5 minutes. Great guy. Made me feel better about me. And that's my Jimi Hendrix experiences. Thanks. 88.5 FM. Joe Walsh here. That went quick. Getting towards the end of the show. Got James Brown, Matthew Wilder, Kurt Weill, and Future Islands coming up. I want to thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. Remind you that this is public radio, listener supported. We don't do commercials. And we'd appreciate a donation to keep us going. Go to 885fm.org. Hope you had a good time. I sure did. Keep your chin up and your head down. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Stay 6 feet from yourself. See you next week.